defending the free market, and making the moral case for capitalism. The Justin Moore Show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Justin Moore Show, where we make sense of what's going on in this crazy, insane, out of control world. And ladies and gentlemen, it's now been, over a week since Trump was sworn in as the 45th president of the United States. There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. We have Donald Trump. He's been signing executive orders like there's no tomorrow. And you have people on the right cheering. And it was just 8 years ago where you had Obama signing executive orders and the right, oh my God, Obama's becoming a dictator. But when Trump does it, everybody applauds. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the things that, Trump's been doing, some of them, it's a move in the right direction. It's a little bit of a change of pace since Obama just always criticizing the very wealthy and we need to attack businesses. But wait, we got to get out of this economic crisis all at the same time. That doesn't even make any sense. But that's what we went through for 8 years. Okay, we really started off this show with a bang, didn't we? Okay, let's take it back a notch here. So when I'm scrolling through the news, seeing everything going on here, I see on CNBC and you see Trump. He signed an executive order, one of them, where he's basically directing the construction of the wall between the United States and Mexico, and basically this wall is going to cost about $8 billion. Well, that's what Trump thinks. And then we have guys like Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. They're projecting that the wall will cost between $12 billion and $15 billion. So then we get a little quote here from Donald Trump. And this is coming from an article on CNBC, and this is what he says. We'll be reimbursed at a later date from whatever transaction we make from Mexico, Trump told ABC News on Wednesday. I'm just telling you there will be a payment. It will be in a form, perhaps a complicated form. What I'm doing is good for the United States. It's also going to be good for Mexico. We want to have a very stable, very solid Mexico. So there's Trump. So far. It seems like he's going to try to build this wall. I mean, pass an executive order and all this. Well, when Trump said that, hey, we're going to get Mexico to pay for this, I mean, Trump is still stressing on this. It seems like I'm the only guy who seems to think this is funny, where, you have Donald Trump and the former president of Mexico going back and forth, and, Trump, I'm not going to go rehash this whole thing. Where Trump's saying, hey, you're going to build a wall. The guy's like, no, you're not. Well, now, guess who jumps into this little feud? It's not just the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox. It's also the current president of Mexico. Now, I might butcher his name. Peña Nieto? We'll just go with that. I'm pretty sure. It's fairly close. Well, anyway, when he heard this from Trump on this ABC News interview, and that, hey, Mexico's going to pay for this wall one way or the other. Well, this guy, this is a quote from the current president of Mexico. I have said it over and over again. Mexico will not pay for any wall. And this is what's so funny. So here we have, this is on, when Trump signed this executive order that the United States was going to construct this wall between the United States and Mexico, this executive order was signed on January 25th, okay? Well, for the next week, the next Thursday, President Trump, it's weird saying that, President Trump and the current president of Mexico, they were going to have a meeting, okay? Well, the current Mexican president, he's so upset over all this that, hey, we're not paying for this dang wall, that he canceled the scheduled meeting with Trump. And actually, that's also following a feud that him and Trump had over Twitter. I know. What is up with this? Here we have guys, the current president of the United States, just getting into these little Twitter wars with presidents of other countries, and the guy canceled the meeting over it. I mean, here are just two of Trump's little tweets here, and this is from January 26th. This is at 6:51 a.m. So, Trump, he wakes up a lot earlier than Obama did. Obama, his little White House schedule, he'd wake up like at 11 or something. But no, Trump, he gets at it. Well, this is what Trump said on Twitter. The U.S. has a $60 billion trade deficit with Mexico. It has been a one-sided deal from the beginning of NAFTA with massive numbers of jobs and companies lost. If Mexico is unwilling to pay for the badly needed wall, then it would be better to cancel the upcoming meeting. Okay, so basically Trump is threatening to cancel the meeting. Well, then basically the current president of Mexico is like, okay, yeah, well, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be in the position of power, and I'm going to cancel the meeting. And then after that guy canceled the meeting, Trump wants to insist that, no, he wanted to cancel the meeting anyway. So it's kind of like a power struggle going on there. But isn't this just crazy? With little Twitter battles. I mean, is this going to be the same story over and over again with just different presidents from different countries, Trump just tweeting at them, and, who knows? But it seems, there's some news stories I've been reading where is Trump going to have a close relationship with that Theresa May, who is she's the prime minister of the UK. Are they going to have like a Reagan-Thatcher relationship? So there's, talk of that and all this. Well, I just wanted to lead off the show, just kind of updating you guys what's going on here with Trump and the wall, because since that was one of his big campaign promises, and I've given you guys the analysis before that Trump was using the wall as a symbol. And he he used that symbol as a way of people to project what they wanted onto Trump. And it was a great way to, create this solid base, this huge base of support of people who were just, yeah, go Trump. And I was telling you guys when I went to a Trump rally when he was in Billings, Montana, my backyard here. And yeah, people had their little build the wall signs and screaming that out. I mean, people got attached to that issue. It's really smart how Trump did that. And anyway, guys, what's going on in the economy? Now, the new numbers came out for GDP growth in 2016. The third quarter was pretty good. People were like, oh man, we might actually get over 3% growth for 2016. No, that didn't happen. But no, the fourth quarter was horrible. Basically, the experts out there, they projected GDP growth of 1.8% in 2016, but the actual growth was 1.6%. 1.6% growth of GDP in 2016. That is horrible. In 2015, our GDP growth was 2.6%. Okay, that was a little bit better. And we go back and we look at the last 7.5 years, almost Obama's entire presidency. The average percentage of GDP growth through those 7.5 years since the last economic crisis, the housing crisis of 2008, was 2.1%. That's the average growth. That is not good. That is not good at all. So we had 2016. It was a below average year for the last 7.5 years. And this is why I keep stressing on this show. Why does it feel like I'm the only guy saying this stuff? Like, look, the economy is not in some wild recovery. When you have people on the right celebrating like, oh my gosh, things are so great. What are you talking about? But then people are like, well, Justin, look, just this last week, this was also on January 25th, the Dow hit for the first time. It hit 20,000 points. And Trump took credit for it. This is a quote from Donald Trump during his ABC interview on January 25th. The Dow hit 20,000, and I'm proud of it. Now we have to go up, up, up. It's gone up a lot since I won. We hit a number that has never been hit before. So I am very honored. Trump's taking credit for this. Like, what the hell are you thinking? You were just sworn in as president a week ago. And you're very honored that the Dow hit 20,000 points. What the hell? Okay, yes, I get it. Markets are forward-looking. Yes. Businesses want a tax cut. Yes, if Trump's saying right now, which is really good, he's saying that he wants to cut regulation. He wants to cut 75% of regulations out there. Well, at least. That's what he's saying. That would be awesome. Because and I've gone back to my very, very first few episodes of this show. I stressed out how regulations are hampering our economy and it's preventing a recovery, along with all the other government intervention in the economy. But isn't this another thing too? We go back and we look, okay, what the hell is going on that we've been in this so-called recovery for 7.5 years and we just got 1.6% growth? And you go back, look at Paul Krugman's little columns. Oh yeah, when Obama was president, oh man, the economy's doing so good. Yes, this Keynesian spending's working out just as I predicted. All this sort of crap from that political hack, Paul Krugman. Oh, he's a liar. Yeah, he is. He's just a political hack. It's all he is. He's not an economist. And he won the Nobel Prize too. I mean, that shows you how corrupt that thing is anyway. But getting back to the point I'm trying to make here is, why is our growth so dang horrible? We saw 1.6% growth in 2016. Well, it gets back to a very, very simple concept. And it's when the government spends money, that's now money you and I in the private sector can't spend. The government is crowding out private sector spending. What did I just talk about on last week's show? I said through 8 years of Obama's presidency, what was it, $9.3 trillion were added to the national debt in 8 years of Obama, more than all the other presidents combined. And I think Bush added, 4.8 trillion in 8 years. So so Obama almost doubled what Bush did, and Bush was just horrible. So with all that record deficits during 8 years of Obama, that's crowded out private sector spending. And so instead of private sector spending and investment in the economy, we got government spending. And so then we come down to the question, who can invest better, the private sector or the government? Well, obviously, the private sector will always invest better than the government because the government is only concerned about political returns. The government will always invest it in a way that's beneficial to those in power or those who are in pursuit of more power. It will never go to where it's needed most. And what the hell do these government bureaucrats know about investing anyway? They can't. And there's no profit motive. They have no reason to be efficient and effective with how they spend money and how they invest precious capital. And actually, capital isn't precious to the government because they have a monopoly on us as taxpayers. We spent that much money. We exceeded what we had in our budget. We just need to raise taxes. We just need more government revenues. The government doesn't need to worry about turning a profit, so they don't give a crap. And so that's why it's no surprise at all why our economy hasn't recovered in 8 years of Keynesian spending, budget deficits. It never does work. We have to have an environment where we encourage the private sector to save and invest money. And we didn't have that with 8 years of Obama. With Trump, will we have it? Well, Trump is talking about infrastructure spending, which is more government spending that we don't need. So I don't know. It's so frustrating. You have to watch all this stuff, and you see just the economic illiterates out there, and they're all these people at the news desks, these so-called experts. They're all economic illiterates. Like, you can just tell they don't know what they're talking about. Even you watch CNBC, a business channel. Those guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. Man, it's just frustrating. It really is. And like I saw this was really interesting. If we can tie this back in with the stock market from Doug Cass. And this is what he says. The market advance is now almost 8 years old, over 2 times the average bull market's age. The last 20% correction was during the financial crisis, and we haven't seen a 5% correction in almost a year. For that matter, there hasn't been a 1% decline since late October. Okay, and in this little paragraph I just read, Doug Cass here is referring to the stock market. At the stock market, since the last month basically, it's been trading sideways, but there's been no correction. We haven't seen more than a 1% decline since late October. That is crazy. But here's Trump. He's taking credit for it. Oh yeah, it's an honor for a 20,000 point Dow. Oh yes. Trump, you're setting yourself up because when things turn around and crash, you're going to take credit for that? No. You're going to have to blame someone. Obama, he was really good at blaming Bush too, which, you can't just blame Bush, which Bush, he can definitely take some of the blame, no question about it. But then again, I'm really simplifying things, and I'm saying I'm just referring to presidents because it's not the presidents alone that create the debt. It takes a Congress and, it's all that sort of thing. But they're the figurehead. So, who else am I going to blame at this point? And so we have the Federal Reserve. They're going to have their first monetary policy meeting of this year, 2017. And my guess is, they probably won't raise interest rates, especially with the latest GDP numbers that came out for 2016, where they were below what the experts thought at 1.6% for the year. Dang, that is not good. And actually, I remember reading an article here on CNBC where they're talking about consumer spending was up a little bit, this and that. And they said, and consumer spending, again, was led by auto sales. So this is also how economies get distorted. So if you're just looking at things from the Keynesian point of view, and you're like, well, hey, look, the economy's doing good. Look at the consumer spending's up. But if you look at where the consumer spending's coming from, and you're seeing it's coming from the auto sector, and if you think like me, an Austrian, and you're like, hey, the auto industry is still in a bubble that hasn't deflated yet, so that's really not a good sign when your consumer spending is being led by that. That's something that's being led by an asset, by a sector of the economy that's in a bubble. That's not good at all. So, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading for a massive, massive bust. And most people out there are still clueless. But obviously people who listen to this show, you guys know what's coming. I'm sure a lot of you have prepared yourself for it. And, you know, those who prepare now, it's going to put you in a position where you are going to profit from what's coming our way. And you're not going to have to be a victim like the average person out there will be. You know, with this massive debt, it's going to have to be inflated away. And people are talking about now, if Trump gets through all this fiscal stimulus, you know, the tax cuts and all that, it's going to be inflationary, all this. Well, there's going to be a lot more inflation coming our way. And the Federal Reserve isn't going to be able to contain it by tweaking up little interest rates a quarter point at a time. It's not going to happen. The Fed's they're playing a dangerous game where how the hell they can only raise interest rates up so much, then we can't pay off our debt because we have a $20 trillion debt. And so the Federal Reserve really is in a box right now. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make this just more of an abbreviated episode. I mean, there is just so much going on out there, but just to, keep it narrow here. Maybe we'll talk about what's going on at the Federal Reserve and what they brought up in their monetary policy meeting. Who knows? I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. There's just so much out there. There's so much going on. And with Trump tweeting all the time, pissing people off. I mean, So who knows what's coming up in next week's episode. But I always want to make sure I want to keep a focus on this show on economics and what's going on and understanding what really is going on. Because you're not getting the truth from, say, CNBC, Fox Business. Those guys have no clue. Most people out there, they're Keynesians. Their view of the economy is Keynesian. They're always concerned about consumer spending, which that's wrong-headed. That's not how you look to see if the economy is growing or what the right answers are to actually get our economy going, which, Trump is on the right path in certain respects. Reducing regulations, cutting the red tape, getting the government the hell out of the way. That's the answer. So yes, even though I've been very, very tough on Trump ever since he announced he was running for president, and now that he is president, I'm going to applaud him when he's doing the right thing, and I'm going to criticize him when he's doing things that aren't right, that are leading us away from liberty. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, let me just end it there for today's show. And you guys can obviously just go to my website. Go check out my old episodes, justinmooreshow.com, more spelled M-O-H-R. Click on my little Amazon widget there. I get a small commission back, costs you nothing extra. Join Tom Wood's Liberty Classroom. All those simple ways you can help me out. And because, look, doing this show takes my time when I'm still working full-time. So if I would really appreciate you guys if you appreciate what I'm doing on this show, trying to get what's really going on in the economy out there. That is a great way to say thank you to me, and I greatly appreciate all you that do that. And if more of you can do that, that would be awesome. So please do that. Just go to my website, as I said, justinmooreshow.com. And with that said, I will talk with all you guys next week, and I'm looking forward to it. This is Justin Moore, signing off.